Okay then, YouTube, since my last tutorial was a little bit sketchy, the quality was pretty low. I think I'm going to get rid of that one and redo it. So I'm going to go through the whole process from start to finish, capturing every little detail for you guys. So with that said, let's get started with a fresh new first person character. So as you can see, I'm just in the first person character blueprint tutorial level. I've opened up the first person character blueprint and we're going to get to work. This is just all the standard stuff that comes with it. We can ignore that and we can just go straight over to the viewport. Now, if you're going to carry objects with the physics handle, then first thing you're going to need is a physics handle. So let's go to the add component and we'll just search for physics handle. There we go. No, not physics constraint. Okay. So these tiny little arrow keys on this keyboard, they're absolutely tiny. Alright, there you go, physics handle, and then we're going to need to add something to attach that to. So under first person camera, we're going to add a scene component cube. I'm just going to call it held object location, and we're going to drag that just into the viewport, just ahead of the camera somewhere. That looks pretty good. Okay. Wait. What? I've added the wrong thing. I did a 2D one. Hang on a minute. Cube. There we go. Come on, drag you out and into position. So we need to rename this and we'll call it not VR marker. What is going on today? Rename this to held object location. There we go. Now we've got the physics handle, which is going to actually do the grabbing, and the location of where the grabbing is going to take place. So we can hit compile on that. Reward yourself with a little bit of coffee. And head over to the event graph. Okay, so I want to set this up to trigger from the right mouse button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just right click and I'm going to search for mouse button and we're going to get right mouse button. There we go. So from this we need to do a branch because we want to know first of all if the player's holding an object. So what that means is we're going to have to do a variable. So let's go into variables and add a new variable and call it is holding ? And we'll make sure it's Boolean and we'll get it, drag it out, choose get, because we want to know if that is true or false. So is the player holding an object? That's the first thing we want to do on the right mouse button, because we need two different events to trigger. We need a drop event for if they're holding it and a pickup event for if they are not holding it. So over here somewhere we're just going to add a couple custom events that we can reference. So add custom event. I'm going to call this pickup. I'm going to add another one. Add custom event. I'll call this one drop. Okay. So if it's true, we're going to drop. And if it's false, we're gonna pick up. There we go. So we're just calling those functions that we just created. So go ahead and compile that, and that's the first bit done. So what we need to do next is we need to make sure that the object's location is getting updated. So if you look here, basically what we've done is this portion here, because the middle mouse button stuff we'll set up later on. That's an optional bit that you can do. It's just the throwing. But what we need is to update the location for the object. So every event tick, we need to set the target's location to the physics handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here. We're going to do event tick. And we're going to do set relative. Hang on. target is physics handle. Set target location. Sorry, not set relative. So set target location, and it's going to be the physics handle. So that's got that for us already. So just move that down and over there. I just move this, so we'll just attach that to that, so we know that that is doing. Actually, you know, I'm going to move that over here. So we need to get the new location. So that is going to be get world location held object location. Yep, that's right. So then we can plug that into that. So now what that's going to do is every tick, it's going to set the physics handle and the held object location to the same place, essentially. So our physics handle will be where our held object location is in the world. So when we attach the object to the physics handle, it will be there in the world. So we can compile that. Okay, great stuff. So we've got our event tick, and we're just gonna comment this. I'm gonna call it update held object location on tick. And we're going to call this one right mouse button pressed. Good stuff. So now we can move that a little because we need some room. So we're just going to put these two together. So now what we need to do is define the routine for when we actually pick up the object. So I'm going to move the drop one out of the way because that's not going to take up a lot of room. But the pickup one is. So I'm going to drag off from there, and we're going to do line trace by channel. Because what we're going to want to do is, first of all, identify if there's an object that we can pick up. So currently it's saying, are we holding an object is the only check that it's doing. What we want to do, sorry, I've got a really itchy knee. What we want to do is also do a line trace to see if there's even an object there to pick up. So let's get that done. So line trace by channel, we need a start position, and this is going to be the get world location first person camera. So we'll grab that, and we need to move this because we're gonna, no, just this bit. We're going to drag off from this because we need a forward vector. So we're going to get the forward vector because we need to know which direction the line trace is going to go in. Now we need a length for the line trace, so we need to do a vector times float. There it is. I'm going to set this float to about 500, so that way the line trace will go out 500 ahead of us. And then we need to add these two locations together. So we need to do vector add vector, and we'll add these two locations and plug that into the end. There we go. So that's our line trace setup. That'll come out from the camera. 500 units, straightforward. And that's where it will end. And if it hits something, that's the logic we're going to set up now. So last thing you probably want to do is set that to duration. And there we go. So on hit, we need a branch, because we're going to confirm that we hit something. So return that as a boolean, so true, false, did we hit something. We'll break the out hit, so we'll break the hit result. There we go. Now we need to know if what we hit is simulating physics. So is simulated, no, okay. Turn context sensitive off. So simulating is simulating physics. Why? I don't know why that's appeared there. Let's get rid of that. We just target as hit component. There we go. So we want to know if that is simulating physics. So if we hit something true, we need another branch. Is simulating physics. Get that plugged in there, and that should be the same. So if we just look over here, there we go. Is simulating physics, target scene component, target scene component. That's right. So the next thing we need to do is get the world location of whatever it is we hit, because we'll need that later on. So let's drag out from component and do get world location. Lovely. Okay, so we're doing a line trace. If we're hitting something, we're checking if it's simulating physics, and we're getting its world location ready for the next step, which is going to be to grab the component at location with rotation. So from here, we're going to go grab components at location with location. Okay, so the target is going to be the physics handle. So let's just drag that off because that's what we want to attach it to. Well, actually, you know what? A better way to do that would just be to get it from in here and just drag it into the world. Plug that straight into there. The thing we're grabbing is going to be the component, and the location is going to be the location of that object in the world. So let's move that down a bit so it's a little bit neater. And move this in a bit, out a bit, in a bit, yeah. And move that in a bit, just so we can follow all of the lines just that little bit easier when we look at it. There we go. So, just to recap, we're trying to pick up the object. So we're doing a line trace. Did we hit it? Yes. Is it summoning physics? Is it simulating physics? Yes. Okay. Is it get its location and attach it to the physics handle? So as you can see, it's exactly the same as that. Now, the last thing we need to do is take that is holding and we need to set it. So we can say set is holding, because we need this to be true now, because we've picked up an object. So now when we go back to run this bit, it's going to say, are we holding an object? True. So it's going to run the drop routine, yeah? So is holding, and then one last thing is set collision response to channel. We want the target to be the object that we just collected. And we need the channel to be pawn, which is us, and the new response to be ignore. Because while we're holding the object ahead of us, it will detect collision if we try to walk forward. So we need to make sure we are ignoring that collision request. So let's just move that in. Actually, I'm gonna just move that entire section down like that. And then this bit up to there. There we go. Now I can see those lines a little bit better. So, line tracing, is it simulating physics? Can we pick it up? Did we hit something? Attach it to the physics handle and set the collision response to ignore. So now we need to do the drop, which is essentially just the reverse. So, again, let's look at what we've got here. Pretty straightforward. We're just releasing the component from the physics handle, setting the variable, and setting the collision. So we'll just drag out from this, search for release component. Target is once again going to be our physics handle. Now you can just borrow this one if you like. I mean, it's the same thing, really. I'm just going to move this over here. That way we can see it's attached to both. Save creating another node. So we're going to release it from the physics handle. There you go. And we're going to set the is holding to false and the collision response. So grab the is holding, set, plug it, and set collision response to channel. And then the target is once again the out hit from this. So let's move that along there a little. Move that along there. Just spacing it out nicely so it looks a bit neater. Okay. So when we drop, we're going to set the collision response back to the pawn to block. So now we should compile that. And when we go back into the game, we'll be able to pick up and drop objects at will. So let's just go test that out. I don't have any objects in this map. That's not an issue. Let's just quickly grab something and chuck it in. Content, starter content, props. Just chuck in that statue for now. Wait, is this simulating physics? Yeah, let's turn that on. Okay, so let's go pick that statue up. Where are you, statue? There we go. And it's attached to the held object location. I think I might have made the held object location a little high. There we go, now we can drop it. Pick it up, drop it, pick it up, drop it. And it's all good. For some reason it seems to be getting locked. I think that's a property of the asset though, rather than a problem with the code. Anyway, that's how you do that. Now, let's try something else. That's a little too big. Let's delete that. What about this rock? That's still kind of big. We can scale it down though. So we'll go 0.5. Oh, shit. Okay, 0.5, 0.5. It wasn't locked. Maybe that'll do. Want it to be movable. That's probably the problem with that lamp, you know. Let's turn. Why can't I simulate physics on this? Oh, this is why I don't use the content that comes with the game. Oh, okay. Delete that. Oh my days. I just want something that I can pick up and throw around. Starter content. Why are you no help? Let's try this chair. Get in there. Simulate physics. Alright. Huh. It's not following the not following the up and down movements of the camera. That's very strange. Let me just go back into Oh, I've put it on, I've attached it to the gun, not the camera. That's the problem. Okay. It needs to go up. No, it needs to go up to the camera. There we go. Now that should fix that. There you go. You got to remember to parent that. When I first created that object, I created it in the wrong place. You got to remember to parent that to the right part of the scene. So, okay, that's that done. So what we'll do now is we'll go back into the blueprint. I don't know why that is there. Huh. Okay, I'm in the held object locations event graph apparently. There we go. All right. So we need to do the all the stuff for throwing it. So let's just take what we made for the. Let's take what we made for this. Just grab these three, and we'll just Control W, because the code is largely the same. So we'll just stick that there. Plug that back into that, and as you can see, we're going to be releasing the component. We're going to be setting the collision, and we're going to be setting the hold variable. But we're also going to do add an impulse. So we need a new custom event. So add custom event. We're going to call this one throw. And we're going to plug that one right into release component. Now again, the target for this is our physics handle, so we need to grab that like we did before. And then follow the chain, releasing the component, setting the variable, setting the collision, and now we need to say add impulse. There we go. So target is the object, this again, the component that we hit, remember, the one that we're holding. So we just go and plug that straight into target. Nope. Yeah, actually no, I did need to do that. I forgot I hadn't set up the collision response target. It's a good job I did that. Alright, so don't forget to do that. And then we'll put this target into the add impulse because that's what we want to add the impulse to. Now, the impulse is a vector, so we need to get the forward vector of the camera again. So let's go, where's the forward vector of the camera? We already have a line trace. Let's not confuse it up, and we'll just do it. We'll do it again. So get forward vector. Target is first person camera, so we'll just drop that in. Sweet. Now we need to give the vector a value. We need to give the impulse a value. So let's just disconnect that for a moment, and we'll do vector times float. I'll make the float 5,000. Give it a nice big bang. We'll plug that into the impulse. So now, when we throw an object, or at least when we trigger the throw object routine, it will not only drop it, but it will add an impulse to it in whatever direction that we are looking. So what we need to do now is set up a trigger event for that. So let's go down here and assign that to the middle mouse button. So let's type middle mouse, grab a middle mouse button, do that, and then we'll reference that. So we'll do throw, call that function there, pop that there so it's nice and in line. And we want a branch. So let's get a branch because we want to make sure we're actually holding an object again, so we can use that variable we've got already set here. Check is holding, true, throw. No, we didn't quite connect that. Throw. Okay, so just make sure that all those blues are plugged in where they need to be. Every time you collide in, you need to be checking. There's a break there. Every time we throw, we need to be. We also need to set the variable. Yeah, set the variable. Everything's referencing. That's setting collision back to block. Collision back to block. It only needs to be set to ignore once. So I think that's good. So let's compile that. Go back into the game. Hit play. Okay. I actually do have items. So grab this chair, and now. Huh. You're not getting impulsed very hard, are you? Let's turn your weight down. Because weight works weird in Unreal as far as I can tell. So let's set your mass to 10. Alright, let's try you now. Yeah, now you're getting thrown a bit more effectively. Although I seem to be able to kick you with more force. I'll tell you what, let's go and up the force of that impulse. So let's change it from 5,000 to 50,000. There we go. Compile that. Okay, let's hit play. Where's that cue? Where's the chair? Whoa! I don't think that was supposed to happen. Man, this statue's got some weight behind it. That's throwing. What's dropping like? Okay, so 50,000 for the force for some reason isn't really making massive amounts of difference either. Let's put this weight back up to 100. Let's put it up to 1,000. Just make sure that that is... Yeah, that is set up right. I've only got 1,000 on this one and it throws things better, but then again, I am changing the weights and masses of things in my in the game that I actually pulled that from. So let's try that again. Now if I nudge it, yeah, it doesn't move quite so much. But now I can barely throw it. Have I set that up right? Yeah, it is forward vector from first person camera into the impulse. It's definitely the way it's supposed to be set up. That's so weird. Let's try 100, 1,000. Because at this point, I'm like really kind of stumped as to why it's not. The only thing I can think of is it's because I'm not using the assets I normally use. Like, I don't normally play with the starter content. Look at it. It's no different to being dropped. Have I got this right? Let me just check. Throw. Yeah. Release component from the physics handle. Set the is holding variable. Set collision back to block with the player. Add impulse. Target is primitive component. Target is, yeah, it's set up correctly. Huh. Well, that is how you do it. Maybe it's like, maybe there's something in the object that collision presets is physics actor. Let's just set that to default. Oh, it's not really getting thrown that far. The statue does. It must be something to do with this chair. It's movable. Oh, its mass is pretty high. Let's put that back to, let's put that to 100. That seems a bit more reasonable. Oh, it's because I had its weight set through the roof. That's why. Problem is though, you can kick stuff around so easily like this. But anyway, there you have it. How to pick up, drop, throw, all that good stuff. A little bit of me confused, and yeah, I hope you guys liked and subscribed. Stay tuned for more tutorials. Next time I'll be showing you how to do, I don't think I have it in this blueprint, but I will be showing you how to click to open doors, so that should be fun. So yeah, I hope you guys find uses for this. As I say, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.